Hey everybody, this is your host Mark. Welcome to the Trust Me Bro podcast, aka TMB, where we go into depth on various topics to get you thinking in ways you never thought of before. This is the first episode, so it will serve as an introductory and welcoming to my show. But first and foremost, nobody likes talking to strangers, so a little bit about me. Again, my name is Mark. I'm from New Jersey, New York area, actually, I'd say. Basically, I've always been the person who likes to express their opinions and thoughts, as well as learn basically about anything I find intriguing or mentally stimulating. So basically, I'd be chatting, and I decided to turn that into a podcast. The whole idea of TMB is to take topics ranging from so-called conspiracy theories to everyday life, spirituality, whatever the case is, some well-known, some maybe not so much, and break them down solely for the purpose of making you think. For each topic of the episodes, I have written a paragraph, you can say, of my own opinions and thoughts on the said topics, which we break down in each episode. With that being said, our very first topic is an important one, not only for this episode, but for the future ones to come. And that first topic is truth, manipulation, critical thinking, unlearning, and why that is important with the TMB podcast. So let's get into that first paragraph in 3, 2, 1. Contrary to popular belief, there is no such thing as universal truth. What I mean by that is no single truth, no matter the topic being discussed, applies to all souls. Whether you realize it or not, what is true to you or me is solely based off of our own individual perception, experiences, and reality constructed for oneself. For example, the idea of love at first sight may be true to an individual who gazed and fell in love with their high school sweetheart, but sound crazy to somebody still searching for that soulmate after countless one-night stands. To the Americans, Nazi Germany was in the wrong. However, to Nazi Germany, Americans were the despicable people. So, who's wrong and who's right? The high school sweethearts or the one-night standers? The Americans or the Nazis? It doesn't matter, and you know why? Because no matter how crude, evil, amazing, sweet, bold, however you want to describe somebody else's truth or reality, it's still their truth, no matter what. And no matter how it might seem to you, those are just your feelings that you're attempting to project onto somebody else's reality. And no matter how you feel it to be wrong or right, they will continue to base their reality and truth off their soul perception. Now, don't be that guy who's going to hear this and say something like, so you're saying it's not true that Trump was president? That's not what I'm saying. The action of Trump being elected is true, yes. However, the reasoning as to why or whether it was the right or wrong thing to do is where the gray area forms. Now, if truth is really based off perception, then whose perception have we been learning throughout our many years sitting behind a school desk reading textbooks? Is this information really your truth, or have you been told it is? I hate to tell you, but chances are you've been lied to. I think it's safe to say that most of what we learn throughout our lives is complete and utter BS. I'm sure most of you have seen online somewhere, somebody, or even myself posting on various new historical data and research shining light on what we've been taught in school or the media. Why is this so important? Because since birth, you've been force-fed information on arguably the 3 most sought-after answers to life on Earth. Who you are, what you are, and why do you exist? Think about it for a second. These are the foundations of your life here. And if you've been intentionally lied and manipulated into believing answers to these questions that really don't have anything to do with you, then your foundation is broken. And if your foundation is broken, then you're vulnerable to even more manipulation down the line. To make it more simple, let's think of it in terms of relationships. For instance, those whose foundations as a child were built off of abuse, rape, lack of love, etc., tend to accept that later on in life and are more susceptible to manipulation in their life when it comes to dating, love, etc. Because whether they realize it or not, that's the subconscious foundation that they believe to be correct. So if your history was taken from you, then abused, raped, twisted, and given back to you in textbooks, wouldn't you say that there's a chance you are vulnerable to manipulation just on a different level because that foundation is broken. That is why it's so important for you to utilize your ability of critical thinking and be able to unlearn pieces of information that no longer serve you down the line. Now, what does this have to do with TMB podcast? Because no matter what I say and what you believe to be true, I am not here to prove who is right or who is wrong. All I want you to do is think. You can DM me, comment, etc. That's fine as long as you think for yourself. Take what applies and let the rest fly. Because at the end of the day, you and I both know you and I will continue to do whatever you want in real life on a day-to-day basis. With that being said, welcome to the TMB podcast. Hope you enjoy. And if you don't already know how to, I hope you learn to think for yourself. Thank you. So that's the first paragraph for this topic. The only paragraph for this topic really, but this first episode, I came up with this because I feel like in today's world, when it comes to truths, perceptions, and realities, it creates a lot of diversity among people because everybody wants to be correct. Everybody wants their movement to be the movement that's for the people. You get what I'm saying? Or for their people, their community, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, it's like what somebody else believes really has nothing to do with you because that's what they believe and they grew up different than you. They had different experiences than you. They met different people than you. They had different love, different relationships than you. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like with a little critical thinking and unlearning of how we've been taught to treat one another or how to view one another, we can really minimize a lot of the damage being done to the whole world, basically, especially online with a lot of the cancellation culture and not allowing people to really grow and expand because we just view them a certain type of way off of things they did years ago. Or just day-to-day life is like a lot of judgment going on, especially in most recent years, like the last couple years. And if people just took a second and really thought for themselves and stopped getting so emotionally caught up in other people's realities, they would find a lot more peace in their own lives. You get what I'm saying? Because you're never going to find happiness trying to make somebody else's reality happy or trying to make it your way or trying to make the whole world think like you think. And I'm not perfect. Even I realize that. You get what I'm saying? That's why I just want people to think for themselves, because at the end of the day, that's all you have to do in this world. You know, I never really understood the saying that to change the world, you have to change yourself. And what that really means is because you can't do it the other way around. You can't expect the whole world to change for you because you believe that the way you think is correct. You get what I'm saying? But when you take your own reality, your own beliefs, and you amplify them within yourself, and you really perfect yourself and make yourself a better person, that is what you attract into your life as well. And eventually you're going to start to notice that other people who vibrate on that same frequency, who feel that same energy you do, will be attracted into your life. And whoever no longer serves you, you lose friends all the time. You know, what do you think the reason for that is? You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it all begins within, not without. And that's really how you change the world. And at the end of the day, all it takes is a little truth, your own truth, some critical thinking, unlearning what no longer serves you to create that perfect world for yourself. And if you're going to ask me who your source is, how did you come up with this? It don't matter. Just trust me, bro. TMB, first episode. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time. Follow me on IG if you don't. Dead Presidency. Good looks. Thank you.